Hey everybody, welcome to our Thursday training call. Tonight, Leslie volunteered to find an awesome video on something that she wanted more information on or a topic she was struggling with. So she did some research, she watched some videos, and she picked I'm pretty sure, a really great video. I haven't watched it yet, which is surprising because I'm pretty sure watched like every single video on YouTube from Beachbody Coach. So I'm happy that she's introducing me to somebody new because that's really exciting. And I'm going to just let her give you a little brief intro, I guess, or reason why she decided to look into this topic. And yeah, just introducing it.
Okay, so when this came up, I right away wanted to do overcoming objections because that's something that it just breaks me down and it gets my mindset all jacked up. Even with the personal development and everything, I still have a hard time getting over it and hearing no and trying to get over that no. So this is a really great call where she talks about being in the right mindset, the steps that we can take, how to talk to people and certain things that we can talk to them about to push them and to keep moving forward. She's going to bring up a lot of really awesome things that I wrote down. And I think that's just going to be a really great call, and I hope that you all get what I got out of it because I wrote 3 pages worth of notes. So wow. I hope y'all get the same amount of info out of it.
Awesome. I'm super excited now. Like, it's only you took 3 pages of notes. That's like,
yep.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to mute you and I'm going to do a screen share and get this party started. Hope you girls are ready. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Yeah? Okay. Perfect. Let me hit play.
And try to give you the gist of it, but I know registration starts on the 17th. So
sorry, can you guys hear it? Thumbs up if you can hear it. Okay, perfect.
Pretty sure that like me and like my personally sponsored and some of their downline, we're gonna make a big group. I guarantee you, Crystal's gonna have 20 of you on her team as well, and I think they're gonna be doing like categories where it's has to do with like, oh, it's team spirit. It's a team spirit. It has to do with something like that. Anyways, all right, let's move on. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this call. So hands.
That was weird. Hold on, let me try. Oh, okay.
Objections and obstacles. So objections is one of those things that I think people get really held back about. And I know you guys have heard my story, but I always like to say it because I literally was living in fear for 5 years. Can you even imagine being a coach for 5 years? Like 5 years from now, all of a sudden you see somebody that hits top 10 and you're like, oh, like I want to do that, right? So that was me, and I was just living in this constant fear of like what other people would think of me, and that I wasn't like other people, that I didn't have what it took, that I wasn't like those perfect, Barbie doll, one-size-fits-all coaches. I wasn't a Janelle Summers. I wasn't a Lindsay Matway. Like, I was like this, like, secretly in my head, it was just like this messed up girl that wasn't perfect by a long stretch. And so it took me a lot to even get to this point where I went all in. But since I've been all in, man, I've been all in. And the thing with handling objections is that it's going to happen. People are going to say no. And, I know we say it all the time, but you really can't be afraid of it because that's part of the journey. That would be like being like you wanted to lose 20 pounds, but you didn't want your workouts to hurt. Right? It just doesn't you want to lose 20 pounds, but you never want to be hungry. Like it's just not going to happen. It's part of the process. And so I came up with this in my mind of the mindset, which ends up holding people back. Because before we talk about like tactics and strategies and like, this is how you overcome objections and here's a one size fits all answer, this is more about tapping into your mindset, and it's something I will always continue to talk about and try to give you new ideas and new perspectives on it, because the thing in between your ears is the only thing that's going to lead you to success or take you further away or be complacent. So this mindset, the 3 F's I came up with, it's fears, frustration, and F it. So some of you, we have a lot of fears that holds us back. So we may not talk to as many people, or we may not say what we really want to say because we're afraid if people are going to love and accept us, or what they'll think of us, or if we'll be any less than, or if we'll come across like we're salesy. For those of you that are grinding and you're pushing and you're like, I'm in it, like you've got a vision board, you got your why, you're in it to win it, but you keep hearing the same things over and over, and you're getting very frustrated. And there's 2 different types of people with this frustration. You have the people that you get frustrated, and that's a nice way of saying bitching. So you end up just bitching about these people where you're like, everyone doesn't have any money, everyone doesn't have any time, nobody's messaging me back. Like, you just get really frustrated. And so this is the crazy thing about life that I'm sure you've realized, however long you've been a coach, if you've been diving into personal development and just assessing your life, is that what you put out there is what you get back. So if you focus on the fact that everyone doesn't have enough money, or that Shakeology is expensive, or these challenge packs are too much money, or that everyone already has a coach, or there's too many coaches out there, or whatever you keep seeing as a reoccurring objection or obstacle, and you don't make an effort to like figure out a way to get around it, you're just going to keep seeing that same lesson over and over and over again. And so for some of you, you may have that driving force that you keep going, but then you never, I've seen it. I've seen people have this drive, but then they never ever hit Success Club. They never get a Success Club point, or they hit SE4 and they just stay there. And you're like, dude, you're one person away, right? And they're just like, they've got it's like excuses, bitching and excuses. That's what that second F is. And then the third F is when the combination of the first 2 just overwhelm you so much that you just say F it. You just are you hear 2 no's, and you need 3 days off. You're just like, I can't handle these people. I just cannot deal. I need to regroup and get myself together, and I just cannot, right? You just get into F it. And it's not, these 3 F's of this mindset that holds people back from handling objections is not anything unusual. You're 98% of people, right? This is just a natural human thing that happens, is that we want to avoid pain. It's in our instincts, right? We want to avoid pain. So if something keeps continually bringing us pain, why would you continue to do it? You know what I mean? And so I think really starting to look at a different perspective and asking yourself different questions in your own head are going to really be that key factor that helps you overcome these objections. So RPM is a system. I know you've heard me talk about this with Tony Robbins, and if you don't know, now you know. It is in our Google Drive, and team set it off. It's the pinned post. Go in the Google Drive, personal development folder, Tony Robbins, Dropbox, download, as much or as little as you like. But RPM is a system that was developed by him, and it's results focused, purpose driven, and it has massive action plans. So here's the thing. You have to know what you're going after, right? You have to know what results you want specifically. And so just to say that you want to help people, I just want to help people and make some money. Okay, someone liked your post and here's $1, get out of here, right? You get back what you ask for from life. To put it quickly, I listened to this Tony Robbins YouTube today, and he was talking about how he was walking around after a big seminar he had done. and he saw a homeless drunk guy at like midnight on a Sunday. And the guy comes up to him and asks him for a quarter. And so Tony pulls, and so before Tony pulls out his money, he's like, is that all you want? And the guy says, oh, a quarter, please, a quarter. And if you've ever been asked for money, you know how that feels, right? Where like people keep persisting and they're like, oh, just a quarter. Come on, anything you got, man, anything you got. Just a little bit, just a penny, just a dime, right? And so Tony pulls out his wallet clip, his bill clip, whatever that's called. And he has like hundreds in the front of it. And he makes sure the homeless man can see it, and he's like rifling through his money, finally finds a quarter, puts the wallet or the wad of money back in his pants. And, you know, like, what do you think a homeless person drunk at that with no money is going to see? It's like kid in a candy store, like staring at his pants and his hand in the wallet and, you know, just looking at Tony. And Tony says this thing to this man as he's handing him the 25 cents. And he says, remember, life gives you exactly what you ask for. So, if you're not being specific with what exactly you want, like exactly how many people you want to help this year or this month, and if you only say, oh gosh, if I could only help one person, if I could only help, 3 people, or I hope I can help 3 people, I'm going to try to help 3 people. Like, when you say that out loud, or you think that in your head, like closing your eyes and thinking that in your head, when you say, I hope I can help 3 people in October, you can just feel that uncertainty, right? When you say, I hope, it's like, well, I mean, if it happens or if it doesn't, there's it could go either way, right? But when you're like, I am going to help 3 people, I will help 3 people, that gives you this concrete clarity that helps you be more focused. So once you understand the results you're after with your coaching business, wherever you want to take this, okay? It doesn't have to be all money driven or anything like that. Although it's not, getting paid. It's definitely a big motivator, but once you figure out the exact results you want and how you want to feel and make it clear and concise, then you have to understand why. Okay, it's purpose driven. It's your why. You hear this over and over again, but your why evolves. If I was still going on the same why that I started with, I think that's why I had so many problems, to be honest, in my last 2.5 years, is because I didn't understand this concept of always continually to evolve your purpose-driven why. It's like making a case for yourself and you're going in front of a jury to tell them why it's not a should, it's a must. That result you want, why must you help 3 people? It's got to be like ugly and personal, right? When you can incorporate a little bit of pain into that, why it's a must, not a should, like, oh, I know that I should be contributing back and I should be paying it forward and I should, I should make a little extra money this month. And should, and you just should all over yourself. When you turn it into a must, for my mamas out there, for those of you that got some children, right? It's not I should make sure my kid has the best life they can, and I should make sure my kid has a roof over their head, and I should make sure that they eat nutritious food every day, and I should make sure they do their homework, and I should make sure they go to school. It's a must. It is a must. There is no other way. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You must take care of your children. You must make sure, come hell or high water, man, it is on like Donkey Kong. You will find a way. And I know you could probably think of a situation off the top of your head where it seemed impossible to do something that your kid absolutely needed, but you made it happen. So when you get that must, that vocabulary of a must, that why, that driven purpose, and write these out, you guys. I highly recommend writing these out because neurologically there's something that happens when you put pen to paper. It just makes it more real. And then, excuse me, I'm burping up the detox drink that I had to drink from the Ultimate Reset, which, by the way, side note, you should check out the Ultimate Reset if you haven't already. Freaking incredible. So the last part of it, of this RPM mindset, is massive action plans, okay? And it's plans, because it's like when you put a destination into a GPS, okay? If you know you have to go to the doctor's office because you have a doctor's appointment, you can't go to any other doctors, you got to go to that one, okay? You're going there. Like, if there's traffic, if the road's closed, if you get a flat tire, like, you're going there. It's going to happen. So this massive action plan gives you different routes and strategies in order to get to your destination. It may not be the way you envision it, like, because plan A might not work, and then plan B might not work, and then plan C might not work. You got to have different plans. You've got to be open. You've got to be a troubleshooter. You know, in my past life, I was a microelectronics student, and I used to build computers and everything like that, and it was very technical in my pre-fitness life, and so troubleshooting was something that I always loved doing, because it's like, you know, if I was trying to troubleshoot a computer and it wasn't working, if I tried something, like if I tried one way and it didn't work, it wasn't like I was like threw the computer out, get rid of it, this computer sucks, you might as well get a new one, right? It was like, no, let me try this, let me try that, what about this, what about that? You know, so having these massive action plans are so important. And then last but not least, you know, the 10 times rule. If you haven't read it, it's such an important read. It's such an important read. The guy's a freaking Looney Tune. Especially if you listen to him on Audible. Grant Cardone is psycho. But that psycho has got some really good points to share. And that 10 times rule mindset is just like, whatever it takes, man, whatever it takes. Handling objections, whatever it takes. Here's the thing that I want to put into perspective is that you need to not be putting all your eggs in one basket, or maybe 5 baskets or 10 baskets. Like, there should always be conversations going. You should always be in a conversation where you're inviting and you're going through that 5-step process, where you're asking them questions, where you're showing them videos, or whatever your system is, whatever you do. I mean, I go off based off of the Beachbody one, where it's just like, you know, you invite them, you start asking them a lot of questions, which is the step that takes the longest. You ask them to watch some videos, and then you basically are like, okay, you ready to do this or not? And you know what happens? People either ignore me, people say no, or people say yes. You know, and trust me, you guys, I've been in this for over 7 years, 2.5 being all in, and I've had many months. This is the reason why I am not like a Crystal. I'm not a all-star. I'm not a Success Club legend, because I did this. And so I try to share. I'm like the parent that's trying to share my mistakes, right? And the biggest mistake I think I made was putting all my eggs in one basket and being like, it was like the 20th of the month, and being like, okay, got all these people. This person can buy it on Friday. This person said at the end of the month. This person, you know, said that, like, yeah, they were going to join my next group. You know, and just waiting. You're just playing the waiting game, right? Or someone said yes and they hadn't, like, pulled the trigger yet. And you're just waiting and holding your breath and being like, okay, I know I'm going to hit Success Club 10 once all these people, you know, enroll. It's going to happen. But guess what happens? They don't. They don't, okay? They don't. I'm a little bit of a pessimist in that sense, because they don't. And this isn't just like a hoorah, like, let's think positive, like, just stare at your computer screen and be like, they're going to purchase, they're going to purchase, they're going to purchase. I'm going to hit Success Club 10. I am going to hit it. I am going to hit it, because it won't, you know, that's just so few and far between. If it's one thing that I've learned, is that you really got to set your standard, and you've got to not settle, and you've got, you know, like, it's almost like this fine balancing act of, like, loving yourself, like doing this because you love yourself. It's like, for those of you that are well into your fitness journey, that, like, from the outside looking in, you look good, like, you're good. People probably tell you you're good, but you've got this relentless, like, hunger to keep going. And it's not because you look in the mirror, or even I remember being, like, 15 pounds heavier than this, and looking in the mirror and being like, you know, it's not because I hate myself. I'm not losing weight because I hate myself. I'm doing this because I really love myself. And if I love myself, like truly, truly love myself, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I'm going to be relentless. And I'm going to be obsessed. And I'm going to look like a psycho. And people are going to tell me I'm doing too much, but that's okay. And that's the same way you've got to be with this business, with inviting people. And I think, and it starts with your journey. Because if you're not this passionate, like I hope you can hear it in my voice. Maybe it's the ultimate reset. But I hope you can hear it in my voice, where I wouldn't be this passionate, you guys, if I wasn't living my truth, if I wasn't actually following plans and sticking to them and drinking my Shakeology and being relentless with my own journey. Because when you have that relentlessness with your own journey, then it can apply to your business. And so when people tell you no, or people keep you hanging on by a thread, or, you know, you've got all these, like, you've got objections and obstacles, you know, you won't settle. You won't settle. It's not good enough, you know, and you do it because you love yourself, not because you're like, you hate yourself. You are changing your dial to align yourself with the kind of person in the life you know you're going to have. So you just start doing things differently. So let's talk about some ideas on how to overcome objections. I'm sure you've heard a lot of these, but hopefully this will give it to you in a little bit of a new light. And then hopefully I haven't talked too long, where we can open it up and you guys can tell me a little bit about if you have any suggestions. So number one is to ask more questions, okay? So tell me more about that. Why is that? Why is the most beautiful question you can ask, right? Just be curious. Be curious. And, you know, it's you've got to be okay. Like, don't take this so personally. I think the reason why we take it so personally when people tell us no, and some of you have got really thick skin, so I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people like me who are just like mushy gushy, take it so personally. It would be like going to eat out, like for breakfast, and the waitress comes around and she asks you if you'd like some coffee with your meal, and you tell her no, and then she starts crying and telling you how much coffee's changed her life, and that she doesn't think she's a good enough person because you don't want any coffee. Okay? Stop taking it so personally. Everyone's all in their own journey, and you're going to continually inspire people by living your truth. And so not everyone's ready, and it's okay because people are living in their fears too. But part of this, of being able to do that last step of following up, is understanding where their headspace is at and getting below the surface. People don't like to get below the surface because that brings pain. And when they have pain, they're going to have to do something about that pain. Right? So it's an ugly truth. We rationalize. We don't want to know how bad it really is. But when someone keeps prying and asking you, like coming from love. So this is my recommendation. If you've never talked on the phone to somebody, or done a voice memo on Facebook Messenger, or talked face-to-face to somebody, or went on FaceTime, I recommend it. Like, if you've gotten to the point, like, give it a shot. Give it a try, you guys, especially if you've never done this. Like, just see how it feels. See the difference when, you know, I don't do it for everyone, you know, but you'll know certain people. Some people really want to talk to you. And, you know, and when you hear that sincerity, you let it flow a little bit better. And so you can, when you start hearing their insecurities, you can ask more about it and just let them talk. Let them talk. But remember, assume the role. You are a coach. You are a coach, and a coach is to prompt or urge someone with instructions, okay? So this would be like watching my favorite football team, the Redskins, HTTR. I haven't been watching football because I got goals, you guys. I got time for football lately. But, you know, it'd be like watching the Redskins, and it's like the second quarter, right? And they're down by 14. And all the players on the team are like, we're never gonna win this game. It sucks. My toe hurts. He doesn't like me on the other team. Like, right? Like, what if they were just complaining and being frustrated, and they were afraid that they wouldn't succeed, and they were just like, well, F it, whatever. And the coach comes in and goes, oh, man, are you sure, you guys? All right, well, you guys are down by 14, so, all right, we'll try again next game. No, the coach wouldn't say that. The coach doesn't do that, okay? And you don't do that too. A coach is someone, you are there to push them. You're the one that believes before they can even see it themselves. That's why on all these success stories, when we were at Celebration at Summit and listening to those people that lost 100 or 150 pounds talk about their coaches and talk about how those coaches believed in them before they even believed in themselves, that's you, that's you, that's you, that's you. An objection is an opportunity. Your problems are gifts. When someone says no, that is a chance to learn. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So here's another idea. Feel, felt, found, right? Followed by a call to action. So if someone gives you an objection of, oh man, I'd really love to, but Shakeology is just so expensive. Listen, I totally know how you feel. I felt the same way about Shakeology. But what I found is that, I was spending more than that for a quote unquote healthy meal when I was out and about on the go, and it didn't even provide me with half the nutrition, a quarter of the nutrition that's in Shakeology. And it's completely helped me stay committed to my program, and it's something I actually look forward to today. And it's actually helped me save money. I use it, the way I look at Shakeology is that it's not an added expense, it's just replacing something already in my budget that maybe I didn't even think was in my budget, because when you buy stuff on the go, that you don't really write that down, do you? So, once you say something like that, then you could follow it by a call to action by saying, what do you say? Why don't you just give it a try? And if you don't like it, then there's a 30-day money back guarantee. Right? And I said Brian Tracy because we had a Success Club call a little while ago that talked about it, that he was on, and he said that's a great way to overcome an objection. I've overcome numerous objections. Like, people tell me no, and I'm just like, push, 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 push. Not in a bad way, but like, let me try this. Let me come at this angle. Let me see if this verbiage works. And it's very, interesting to see what works and what doesn't work, but only you will know what feels like your groove. And it continually changes. It's not like you find one way and that's the golden ticket. It's always changing depending on the person and their personality. Another idea that you could do is ask them to, where do they want to be a year from now? Like, how do you want your health to be a year from now? What do you want to feel like a year from now? And then, they'll tell you a little bit, and then ask them, is what you're doing right now going to ensure that you get there? And I like to sprinkle it in with all my personal development. So, that quote where I tell them, listen, I understand that, it may not be a priority right this second, or, the funds are kind of tight, but let me tell you, like, I was unemployed when I became a coach. Like, I tell people that. And I bought a showcase pack too. Can you believe it? It's called credit cards. Everybody's living on credit. So, I like, when new iPhones come out, Christmas is around the corner. Watch all those people that said they didn't have money for $140 and they're buying like flat screen TVs. It's insane. So I know people have money. That's my standard in my head. I'm like, people have money. I just haven't shown them the value enough for them to believe in themselves. And so sometimes that's just continually exposing them and connecting with them. And then some people, it's just rewording things in a different way. So if this person's, if the conversation's gone dead, if it's just really not their time, put them on a list, and then move on and continue talking to more people. And think of that saying, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And follow up with them. Because following up is the golden nugget to all of this. Our coach, Anna Reel, who's very quiet on her team, but let me tell you, she's a force to be reckoned with. I'll tell you her story really quick. and this will maybe inspire you to start reaching out on Instagram if you haven't been already. I was on a Success Club cruise earlier this year, and I listened to the top 10 coaches speak and got very motivated and inspired, and did a post, a transformation post, and then I sent out a generic blanket message to everybody that liked my photo. And Anna was one of the ones that responded. And I took her to email, and I have a script that I follow on email, so I took her all through this email process. She was on board until she heard the price. Said she didn't have enough money for it. I said, okay, tried to overcome the objection, but she just couldn't. So I put her on a list, and then I followed up with her and asked her, if she was ready, how she was doing. And she said she had hurt her back and couldn't work out anymore. I said, oh man, that's, sympathized with her, put her on my list, followed up with her again the following month, and asked her how her back was doing, and told her I was thinking about her, and saying that I had a summer slim down group coming, and I think there was a program that I think would really help benefit her because she was nursing a back injury. So she was interested. I ended up getting her on PIO and put her in my challenge tracker app. She wasn't the golden superstar challenger. She checked in maybe once or twice, maybe 3-4 times a week. Wasn't very active. Ended up leaving the tracker. Ended up leaving my clubhouse, my free group on Facebook, because it was too much for her. But for some reason, I decided to invite her to become a coach. And she told me no. She objected. She said she didn't know enough people. She wasn't at her goal weight. And I just told her, I said, listen, can you just come on my coaching happy hour that I did an event page for? So she went on there, she wasn't on there live, didn't respond to any of my posts, but I followed up with her and asked her what she thought. She still was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. And I said, okay. And followed up with her a couple weeks later, because I was doing a coach sneak peek for the first time. So I asked her if she would be in that group to help me out and to learn more about it. And she agreed. Did my coach sneak peek, checked in with her. She said she was wanting to become a coach because she really did like the Shakeology. And, but it would be about a month or two before she could because of the cost. Then, for some reason, right before Country Heat came out, she decided she was going to sign up to be a coach once Country Heat came out. So she signed up to be a coach, and now Anna is a success starter. She's hit Success Club 2 months in a row. And if she hits it this next month, when she hits it this next month, she is going to get a free ticket to Coach Summit in 2017. So if that's not a really motivating story to continually follow up and overcome objections, man, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. She's a quiet person, but I simply adore her. She cut my hair. I met her in person for sure. But yeah, here we go. That's it. Stop share. We got like 3 minutes left, I think, on this. So I'll open it up. We got 3 minutes. Does anybody have anything to add? You want to just say hi? Ooh, can I get a picture? Oh, Whitney, that hair is looking fierce. Okay, then. Here we go. Everyone smile. Look like you're having a good time. Okay. Hey, Courtney. I know you.
All right. So I don't know if there were any questions at the end of that, but I feel like probably they weren't or anything. Okay. Awesome. Well, if you guys want to unmute yourselves, I'd love to hear your takeaways. I took a bunch of notes too.
Right. It had a lot of good stuff in it.
2 pages worth, and I just really loved everything she shared. That whole thing, Tony Robbins really does talk about like where your focus goes, energy grows. And if you're focusing on the negative, you're focusing on the struggle, you're going to stay on that struggle bus. You're going to stay where you're at. If you're focusing on, the positive and taking steps and being grateful for all the lessons, like she said, all the objections, they're just lessons, like teaching you how to be a better coach, how to communicate better with other people, how to overcome those objections, how to ask better questions, sharing the value of what we have. She was like right on point with all those things. Another thing like I wrote down is, what excuses are you telling yourself? And that's the same thing. Like if you're telling yourself, oh, well, you know, I'm still not at my goal weight, or I haven't been a coach that long, so who's going to want to follow me, or who's going to want to, you know, be coached by me? Whatever your excuse is, get rid of it and just take action and take the steps you need in order to get the results you want. Just being very results focused, and your purpose, figuring out like, why are you doing this? You know, like, why do you want this? If you know what you're fighting for, it's going to be that much easier to stay fighting for it. If you don't know what you're fighting for, then you're going to give up very quickly. Your mindset's going to propel you, or it's going to hold you back, but that's up to you. With doing the vital behaviors each and every day, getting your personal development and getting, you know, your workouts in, getting your Shaco in, sharing that journey, you just have to do it. And your mindset is going to be the thing that's going to be showing through on all your posts. So if your mindset's not on right, then people aren't going to be attracted to that. Life gives you exactly what you ask for. That was like super powerful. It's not a should, it's a must. I love that. When I started my Success Club streak and I started hitting Success Club 5 consistently, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, I could do this. It's only 3 people a month. Let me keep going. And then once I hit like Success Club 10 one month, I'm like, whoa, like I've been selling myself short. Why am I like selling for 5 when I can hit 10? And then ever since then, I've been going after Success Club 10 plus, and I will never let that streak die. Like, I will fight for it, and I will do what I have to, talk to like 1,000 people if I have to. But that's something that's important to me. That's a must for me in my business. That's not a should. Like, so I hope you guys also have identified your shoulds, not your shoulds, identified your musts, and make it non-negotiable. Don't rely on the people who make you wait. This is I've had tons of people tell me, oh, you know, on Friday I get paid, that's when I'll order. Or I send out the link and I follow up and nothing. And they're like, oh yeah, for sure, I'm 100% in, and then just ghost on me. Don't rely on those people. You have to control the controllable, and that is inviting more people, talking to more people. So even if you have those 3 that you're like 99% sure that they're going to order from you, don't wait on them. Keep talking to more people, keep inviting, keep sharing, because you never know, something can happen. They can get in a car accident, or, you know, their credit card gets stolen, or their information gets stolen. Like, my stuff has been getting hacked left and right. I mean, I've been like on 2 different credit cards, like having to cut them off and like wait 5 days for them to send me a new card. So if something like that happens to someone, that's like an unforeseen thing, but their priority is not you and getting, you know, their order in for you to hit Success Club. So just keep that in mind. What else? Being relentless, working hard, don't give up. The idea is to overcome objections. I love that. Just asking more questions, figuring out exactly, is it an excuse, or is it really something that's deeper than that? Like, are they worried? Are they fearful that they're going to give up because they've tried 10 other diets and they constantly fail? And then they just, you know, backtrack and end up, you know, worse than they started. And they're scared that if they invest this money into a challenge pack, the same thing's going to happen. So talking to people, really, you know, creating those relationships and getting to those questions and, you know, prompting them to continue talking about them is going to help you figure out exactly what their struggle is, what their hesitation is, and how you can help them overcome that. Assuming the role of a coach. I love that, because if you're not confident in your conversations, they're not going to go for it. They're not going to believe that you can help them if you're talking like, oh, well, maybe this would be good for you. You know, I think you should try it. You might be able to, you know, get some results. I'm not really sure. That kind of language, that's not confident language, and that's not language that's going to help you get them to that next step of committing to it. But telling them like, oh, even if maybe, for example, like I've helped a lot of people at this point, because I've been 4 years in the business, but even if you're just starting, just the fact of sharing like that you've been able to get amazing results because you've committed to the program. You have seen the benefits of Shakeology. Sharing that, if you don't have, you know, challenger testimonials yet, but if you even have one person you helped, like you can share that. Talk about how much they're loving their experience and how they got results in the challenge group and how you know, the whole team is supportive. So it's not like they're just being coached by one person. They're being coached by 10 coaches, which is really cool. Like, because, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get a cut off of, you know, the people you guys bring into the challenge groups and vice versa. But it's cool that we have that, you know, team culture and that community going, that we do run groups together. So it's helping them get, you know, more attention, more people helping them stay accountable to their goals. So talk with confidence, fix your language, like read through your messages. You know, that's the thing that, I guess, a little homework assignment I'll have you do, like, you know, tonight or tomorrow. Like, go through your messages and kind of read it. Like, if the roles were reversed and you're the person inquiring about the challenge pack or Shakeology or whatever, and, you know, that person was a coach and they were speaking the way you're speaking, like, would you be convinced? Like, would you feel like you had all the knowledge, or, you know, you answered all the questions and the person had enough information on you to figure out, like, what's the best fit program for you, like, why Shakeology would benefit you, things like that. So do a little self-assessment. Okay, feel, felt, frowns. We've talked about that before plenty of times. And I like that she included followed by a call to action. I've never thought of it that way, but it's really true. Like, and even simply saying, like, why don't you just give it a try? Worst case scenario, you don't like it, it doesn't work after you tried it, send it back. No big deal, you know? And asking them to dream a year from now. Like, so this would be kind of cool. If someone's talking to you about the coaching opportunity or have inquired about it, like telling them, like, okay, where do you see yourself a year from now? You know, is what you're doing now, like, going to help you get to that place? Like, if the person's telling you that they're stuck at a dead-end job, like, they're miserable, they hate it. Well, if they're just going to continue on doing the same thing for the whole year upcoming, like, they're going to be in the same space they're at now. So, like, why not change something? Why not do something? Take a leap of faith. Following up, super important. Putting them on a list and moving on. Very important to stay on track and keep trackers. And I'm guilty of this. I'm terrible at organization. I mean, I'm organized, but I'm not systematic, I guess, in the way I'm organized. Like, I have tons of, like, pen and paper, like, notes and things like that, but it's not, like, in one place. So I need to get better at that. So if you're just getting started, get started right and stay organized and tracking your stuff from the beginning, because it'll make things a lot easier next year and the year after that. So speaking with confidence, sharing your journey, talking about your personal objections. So, like, even publicly on your Facebook pages, talking about why you hesitated before you got started, what you were worried about, what your concerns were, and how you've overcome that. So sharing your experience with those things. Believing that they can and instilling that belief. So when I'm talking to, you know, my prospects and they're, you know, not really sure, like, if it's going to work for them, I'm telling them, like, you're going to get awesome results. You're going to love your experience. You're going to do a kick-ass job. Like, I can't wait to see you rocking it. Like, those words are speaking belief into them. And that's going to encourage them to be like, yeah, like, she's right. Like, man, like, I can do this. I will do this. Like, I'm going to see results. But if you're just like, oh, yeah, like, you should maybe think about it, it's totally different, right? An objection is an opportunity. Look, I wrote that, like, really big and underlined it and starred it, because right here. I just love that. I've never heard anyone say that, and it's so, like, it's gold. And just showing the value of the investment. So thank you, Leslie, because I love that all, and I'm going to share, like, with everyone else.
Hey.
Not only on our team, but, like, with my other coach friends, like, that they should, you know, share this video with their teams too. Anybody else have some takeaways or want to talk about?
I think you touched on everything I wrote down, actually.
How funny.
I really liked when she said, like, when people give you the objections for money and spending the money straight off, when she said when you buy stuff on the go, that's not a budgeted expense. That shit adds up, and it adds up big. I used to spend so much money because I used to go to the corner store before work, during work, sometimes after work. We'd go get takeout or something like that. That stuff adds up to a lot more than what it costs to have a healthy shake. So I really like that. But I think everything else you touched on that I wrote down also.
I agree. Anybody else have something that they learned, or maybe something that they heard that was different and new and inspiring? Anybody? Don't be shy. No? No? Bueller? Anybody? Please, somebody talk.
Sorry, I'm totally absorbing all the stuff, but if I don't get this pack tonight, I'm in deep trouble.
No, I know.
But it was an awesome call.
Yeah, and like I said, I've never heard of this coach before, so it's kind of cool to see someone new and maybe someone who's not like a top coach or elite coach, but also has like very valuable information to share. It's cool to see her, and I'm gonna subscribe to her YouTube and see if she has any other good videos on there. But all right, well, if you guys don't.
I do want to add one tiny thing. Actually, now that you brought that up, it reminded me of something. Ignore my seeing my panties and my bras and stuff, because it is what it is.
Girl, by the way, I'm on YouTube, so I hope you don't mind.
Whatever. So people see my panties. They're very boring. I mean, I can show you. I mean, these are kind of cute, right? Those are cute, huh? I got little hearts. But I mean, they're panties. They're from Victoria's Secret. Everybody's got them. So the one thing that I took away, so she had talked about how she was in this business for like 7 years or something, just like absolutely mind-blowing like that. Mm-hmm. And that she is still not a Success Club all-star. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be in this business for 7 years and not be able to say, like, okay, I've already hit SC5 all-star. I've already hit SC10 all-star. By next year this time, I will have hit all-star legend in both categories, and I'm going to keep that going because I'm a business coach. I want this. I don't want to be in this business 5 years from now, because that would make it 7 years for me, and say, I'm not an SC all-star. I'm not an SC legend. Like, that just kind of resonated with me. I think that's maybe why we haven't heard of her before. I don't know what this is because, she's not hitting some of those milestones that, I tell Leslie and Amanda and Nicole and Taylor, like, Success Club, Success Club, Success Club, Success Club, because that's what's going to make us successful. Like, that's our benchmark. That's what we should be shooting for. And I don't want to be in this business 5 years from now and not be doing what I'm preaching. The reason it's come hell or high water that I'm hitting SC10 every month is because I want to grow my business, but I also want the ladies on my team seeing that I'm not just spewing this because I think I should or whatever. It's because I'm doing it myself. And on the months where I struggle, like this month, when I told you guys, like, it has been rough. Like, I literally, like, it's not even on the board yet. She filled out the form. I got the notification she filled out the form. Like, I just got my first 2 Success Club points, and it's October 13th. Like, I don't think I've struggled any month leading up to this point as much as I have this month. And I know part of it is we're in the 4th quarter and people are starting to think about, Christmas and holidays, and they don't want to think about losing weight. They want to think about stuffing their face on Thanksgiving and wearing big sweaters and stuff. And so, like, I get that it's not all me, but at the same time, I need to be sending more invites out to compensate for that. So that, like, right now, I'm getting my butt kicked all over the place by the ladies on my team because they all were on the Success Club board before I was. And that's totally cool. But it pushes me even harder to get those points. Like, knowing that Leslie's at 4 and knowing that Amanda has 2 and knowing that Nicole, I think you either have 2 or you have 4. But, like, knowing that these awesome ladies, you have 5? Hell yeah, girl. 4. Okay. But, like, knowing that there are these awesome ladies on this team, like, pushing me to be that much better, So I wonder if that's sort of why.
Amen. But on that note, sorry to get off, but before I lose my thought, like you were saying, this is a hard time, but when did you sign up? When did you join my challenge group? Do you remember? The first one you joined was my November group. It was like my pre-Turkey Day fixed group. So you see, there are people that want to do this now. You have to just go find them.
Yeah, and the issue is there, at least, it was kind of a weird situation because it was like I saw my 25th birthday coming around and I saw myself getting real heavy again and I didn't want to go there. So those people are out there because I signed right before my 25th birthday, which was somewhere around November 24th, probably just a few days before that because it was my birthday present to myself. And then I joined as a coach the very next month.
Mm-hmm. So you see, Opportunities there. There are millions of people that we need to help. It's just that we have to go find them. We have to show up each and every day. Like Emily said, this is our business. Like, especially if we want this, like, long term, if we want to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and whatnot, like, this is it, girls. Like, you need to be helping people, and you have to be doing all these things and not taking it personally when people tell you no. Like, it is not a reflection of you, of your worth, or, you know, your like awesomeness and your ability as being a coach when someone tells you no. So don't take those things personally. But you have to just push through. Like I said, you need that mindset. You need to do those vitals. You have to get those invites out and share your journey, because that's the only way it's going to work. No one's going to come running to your door saying, like, sign me up for a challenge pack. I want to buy one. I mean, even Christina Delgado, like, people don't run to her like that. Like, no matter who you are, where you're at in this business, like, Melanie Mitchell works her ass off still, and she doesn't have to. Like, she's going to be probably top #1 coach 3 years in a row, and she busts her butt. Like, she doesn't stop, because if she stops, her business stops. The momentum stops, her team stops. And you got to show up. You have to lead yourself first if you want to lead others. So regardless of whether you have coaches or not that are working the business, like, you have to show up and you have to show them and get in that habit of doing it for yourself and leading by example. So that way, when your discount coaches or when you have biz builders on the team, they see what you're doing and they want to duplicate that success and want to duplicate that action. If it's not important to you, why should it be important to them? You know, you're not going to find a coach that's better than you or it's going to work harder than you. It's going to be very, very difficult to find a Bonnie Engel if you're just, you know, sitting and not sending out your invites or not being consistent, or just thinking that, like, you're going to post once about a challenge group and have it filled up. Like, I wish it was that easy, but it's obviously not. And that's okay, because when the going gets tough, like, we're just going to be tougher. We're going to keep pushing forward and overcoming those objections and overcoming, you know, the negative self-talk that we might have going in our heads right now. So I want you guys to just get rid of all that. We're halfway through the month. That means we still have half of the month left. Like, there's plenty of time to help people, to talk to people, to make those relationships, to be talking about what you're doing. And we have our coach sneak peek on Monday. So that is a great opportunity to invite your current challengers to learn more about coaching, to talk about on your Facebook pages about the sneak peek and what this business has done for you, to be inviting behind the scenes and sending out messages to personally invite people, to talk to your friends about it, talk to your family members about it. So use it as leverage. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. I'm not telling you to go, you know, do your own business opportunity call and you don't know, like, what to do or talk about, or, you know, scared shitless that I told you should do that. I mean, eventually you should do it, of course. Like, don't just rely on your upline, me and Emily and whoever else, like, to do it all for you. But at least now, like, we're doing this stuff together, so it's not as difficult or not as overwhelming or, you know, complicated. So use it. Use those things to better your business and better yourself and learn. So yeah, gonna off the what is it called? Not the podium, I guess, right? Podium. I'm done preaching for tonight, but yeah, I have, like, a lot of messages that I need to follow up with, so I'm gonna get that done, because I am at Success Club 2, and hearing that there's other people on the team at Success Club 4 is like, damn, I need to catch up. So I'm gonna get to work, and I hope you girls do too. And yeah, thank you for coming on. Of course, let's take our picture, because we're all so beautiful. And I'm just so happy that, Leslie, you found this awesome call. And let me get ready. Emily, put the panties down. Actually, it'd be kind of funny if you had them in the picture, but ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome, girls. I love you all. Thank you for showing up and being here, and let's go kick some butt. All right? Bye. Have a good night.